I'm a CPA by trade, so I feel somewhat in the family here. So I'm going to ask something that hopefully will be really practically helpful for folks in the room, and that calls out service providers in a little bit. So give me some leeway. Could you kind of, if you feel comfortable going down, giving a range of fees that you think founders should be comfortable with for the most basic services at the very beginning? Meaning, another way of putting this a little bit more crass way is, how does a founder know when she or he is getting bullshit by a lawyer or a CPA around incorporation documents, right? Especially a founder who maybe even starts a conversation with, I just raised money, right? Or I'm going to raise money, and they know that there's money coming. What are the key flags that a founder should know and say, listen, this service provider, be it a lawyer, CPA, consultant, whatever, these are fees that, generally speaking, in South Florida are within range for incorporating, blah, 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 blah.
Yeah, I can speak to that. And we're very transparent with our fees. So if you want to know fees for anything, again, just email me and I'll send you a whole menu of fees that we give to our founders for basic things that we believe founders need as a startup package. But to incorporate, depending on whether it's a single member LLC, up to a more complicated structure, we generally charge from $1,500 to $2,500. And a lot of people say, well, I can go on Clerky and form a company for $500, say. When that's appropriate, I will definitely tell the founder that's appropriate, because our interest is not in doing these small initial transactions. Our interest is in helping you grow, helping you allocate your money to growing your business and developing that long-term relationship. So then when you start to do bigger and bigger deals, we can be there by your side. The reason we charge more than a Clerky, for example, is because we will provide an operating agreement where it's going to govern the relationship between the founders. Again, it's, and feel free to, shop around firms, and see who you feel most comfortable with, not only fees-wise, but as an advisor. I tell my clients, look, assuming you're not an architect or in the construction business, would you build your own house? I know, probably not. It's probably going to cost more money if you try to build your house and it falls on top of your family. Well, your legal structure is the house that your business lives in. So, as was said before by my fellow panelists, sometimes it's worth having a little investment up front. I really don't make money on those initial stages of forming a company. That's more about forming a relationship with the client so they can grow and continue. I do make a lot of money when founders have tried to do it by themselves and then I need to clean up the mess. That's a lot of legal fees. And I feel terrible because as a business lawyer, I want to help my founders grow their business. I don't want to try to clean up a mess or try to save value when value and see value being destroyed. That's something, all of us who have an interest in this ecosystem hate to see. So, again, just, if you're curious about fees for anything, just give any of us a call and I'm sure, we'd be happy to share with you.
Awesome.
Just to Julie's point, when she mentioned shop around, I just want to give you some practical questions to ask your lawyers. So when you're talking with a firm, be straightforward and ask, listen, I have a particular matter that I'd like to discuss with you. Can we have a meeting or a call? Number one, are you going to charge me for this meeting or call? Most law firms do not charge for the initial consultation, but make sure that you have that information clear. There's not going to be a charge. Right? And there are plenty of firms that offer this particular type of service. If you decide to move forward with this particular firm, make sure that you have a clear understanding about the fees. So, as Liz mentioned, if we're going to charge $2,500 to form a company, ask, is there a cap? Meaning, if for any reason you go over this fee, would I have to pay more money for the service that you estimated or not? You're going to cap those fees at $2,500. And if there's a cap, okay, great, we're on the same page. If not, please let me know, and do not incur in any additional service before you tell me the fee is going to be higher than $2,500. So don't be afraid of asking these type of questions. Make sure you have a clear understanding of what the lawyer is going to do and how much he's going to charge for doing what he's promised that he's going to do.
On the accounting side, it really depends. At early stage, the fees don't have to be much, and honestly, a lot of it you can do yourself. You know, if you're still in that phase where you're just figuring things out, you don't even know if you have a real company yet, you know, you can do your own accounting. You can use QuickBooks. There's still tons of online accountants now, online bookkeeping services that charge a few $100 a month. You know, where it really becomes critical is you start thinking you have a real company and you do want to, you know, potentially go out and get investment. Then you're going to want to make sure that you have a good accountant so that you're keeping your books on, you know, a GAAP basis, so that you're, you know, giving professional financial reports to your investors or your prospects. And the other thing that can be really important at that stage is projections, right? So when people start to think they have a real business, maybe you started getting customers, you need to be able to tell the story of where this company's going. And so you got to be able to do that in words, right, with your pitch deck. You also have to be able to do it with numbers. And you got to understand all the different drivers that are going to get your company to where you want it to go. You know, what costs are going to impact. You know, how much are you going to make on each customer? What are your profit margins? All that stuff is very important to, you know, be able to demonstrate and talk to your investors about. So, you know, and that's something that varies greatly when you get to that stage, just depending on what your needs are.
Yeah, I'd echo what everyone else said. We've moved a lot to flat fees for many different types of transactions and packages. You know, anything that's kind of standard to get the startup and corporation docs going, we just use flat fees. Where it gets more expensive is, you know, when you start bringing investors in and there's a lot of negotiation, whether it's among the founders or whether the founders and the investors. That's where, you know, we have to talk and, you know, figure out what that's going to cost. But yeah, just like everyone else said, look for, you know, be straightforward, look for transparency to figure out what things are really going to cost. You know, as the cap table becomes more complicated, you know, you make more money, you're going to have to expect that you're going to spend more on legal fees. But, you know, if you do it right from the outset, at least your standard incorporation doc should be pretty cheap.
So for the attorneys and the CPA on stage, I'll make the general disclaimer that if there's a question asked, none of this is legal advice and or financial advice, but we do want to open up for questions. So if you do have a question for folks who day in, day out are setting up and managing questions and issues around legal fiscal matters within a company or startup, this is a really great time to do that. So we have a mic there, and then we'll do really short questions so we can get a bunch of them in.